Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee. Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee. Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee.
We're going to learn a lot more this week about former President Trump's push to stay in power. The committee that's investigating the insurrection will hold its first big hearing this Thursday night in prime time.
I've got no doubt that reasonable-minded people are going to look at this and say this was an organized hit on American democracy.
The hearings are expected to include a combination of live testimony and taped depositions, including from members of the Trump family and former top White House officials. And that includes Cassidy Hutchinson, who is a top aide to Mark Meadows. And Hutchinson has testified already at length about things that went on inside the White House. And her testimony could end up being one of the more bombshell, revelations. I think a lot of the things that we've learned have seemingly come from her.
Right.
What more can we expect, Sungmin, from these hearings? And I mean, what is the risk really that they've promised a lot to the American people? It's in prime time.
Right.
Can they deliver?
They're setting pretty high expectations here. But I also think, first of all, we've learned a lot from the various news reports coming out of this committee so far, the records they have chosen to release. But they've promised that there are more, and there is a reason why they are putting this front and center in prime time. And I also think there's a different element, too, of actually seeing these people testify in person and the impact that has. We've talked about Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee. Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee. Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee. Cassidy Hutchinson, the very valuable witness for the for the January 6th committee.
Can you confirm to us that the videotapes of Cassidy Hutchinson, the ones where she's now changing her testimony through the errata, that they are missing, they are gone?
That is true. I can confirm that. And all of the videotapes of all depositions are gone. Again, we found out about this early in the investigation when I received a call from someone who was looking for some information off one of the videotapes. And we started searching and we had none. I wrote a letter to Benny Thompson asking for them, and he confirmed that they did not preserve those tapes. He didn't feel that they had to, but according to House rules, you have to preserve any data and information and documents that are used in an official proceeding, which they did. They actually aired portions of these tapes on their televised hearings, which means they had to keep those. But yet he chose not to. I believe they exist somewhere. We've just got to find where all these videos are. And here's why it's so important. Even with Cassidy Hutchins, people have asked, why do you need the videos? You've got written transcripts. Well, when you've got someone like Cassidy who is significantly changing her testimony, I want to see what her body language is when she gave her original testimony. Yeah. I want to see what her voice inflection is. Was she very confident in what she was saying at that time, but then later decided to change it? This is why it's so important that we have those videotapes, and I believe that's probably why we don't have them.
If Donald Trump is elected president again in 2024, I do fear that it will be the last election where we're voting for democracy, because if he is elected again, I don't think that we'll be voting under the same constitution that we would be if Joe Biden is elected in 2024.
These are big changes. These are substance changes, not just minor details here and there. And call me crazy, but when I hear about this and I see the major changes in a number of stories and high points of testimony that, by the way, the media absolutely ran with, do you think that there's any chance that Cassidy Hutchinson was coached on what to say, knowing that this committee hearing was going to be highly publicized, and at the same time knowing that she could go back and amend her testimony and the amendments would be concealed?
You know, that's a possibility. We don't know what her motivation was, but I can tell you that her attorneys changed during that time as well. And so that is something that I think we need to ask her about. Why such a sudden and substantive change into your testimony, especially months after you gave those testimonies and then immediately after you made public testimony?
Yeah.
that obviously was different than what was in the original transcribed interviews.